Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam The Sands of Time. It's action and adventure in ancient Egypt in this terrific teen time travel romance. Get your copy of E-Steam The Sands of Time at your favorite online bookseller today. A couple of weeks ago, Hollywood decided to release its interpretation of a so-called black love story, Queen and Slim. And when I take a critical examination of your Queen and Slim, I do not see the great black love story many people out here have been wanting to see for almost 30 years. What we got instead was the same old white supremacy repackaged in a brand new box. Now, your Queen and Slim, which was co-written by a black woman and a white man, and directed by a black woman, is supposed to be a tragedy set in the style of Bonnie and Clyde. But when I take a critical examination of Queen and Slim's premise, the great tragedy is that these two black women's perception of black love was one where they saw everything in the negative and never saw anything in the positive. And that's the main reason why I believe Queen and Slim got greenlit by Hollywood, because it featured that tragedy that white racists want to see regarding black love, because they want to program the idea in people's minds that black love needs to be associated with something negative, and that if a black man decides to love a black woman, something bad will happen. When the only thing that's bad that's going to happen is that these two black people are going to come together, and these two black people are going to learn to love themselves and not seek out white validation and approval. And I don't see anything negative in that aspect whatsoever, because when a black man and a black woman come together and love each other, it is the most beautiful thing on this planet, because that is an expression of how much a black man loves a black woman, because both of those people love themselves internally. So that's a message I want to see presented, and it's one I present in many of the books that I write, like the Cassandra Cookbook back in 2004. And if I can go out here and write a story of black love, then I wonder what's wrong with Hollywood. Because back in 2004, I said to myself when I was developing the Cassandra Cookbook, which is now titled A Recipe for Success and is available on Amazon right now, I wanted to do a love story about two black people in New York, and I wanted to do a black love story that showed how these two black people who worked at two black-owned businesses, one character worked at a corporation, Simon, and Cassandra, who worked at a downtown Brooklyn bakery with her name on it, came together and found love with each other while they went out and tried to expand both their businesses and continue building their businesses and taking them to the next level. And as they came together, they managed to put together a business deal that not only allowed the business to expand, ITC Foods and the Cassandra Bakery to expand, but it also allowed Simon and Cassandra to come together and find love with each other. And at the end of the story, all of the black people win. And that's something that meant something to me back in 2004. And I almost came this close to getting that book signed with a literary agent and almost sold to a publishing house. But I'm now starting to see why many of those agents and publishers didn't want that story, The Recipe for Success, because it did not fit the narrative that Hollywood and mainstream publishers have regarding black people, regarding black love, and regarding the black image. No, they don't want you to see a story that features two black-owned businesses, two black people coming together and sharing black love with each other, or two black people building together, because that runs counter to what these white racists in Hollywood want to see. And what they want to see is a tragedy presented on screen so that they can program the idea in black men's minds and black women's minds that black love is something bad, and that if a black man and a black woman come together and start loving each other, then the world will destroy them, and that sending a message to them that you cannot love each other because something bad will happen. And again, when I look at the black female writer, one of them, and the director, this is really sad because this Queen and Slim sends a message really about their perception of black love, because for them to sit there and make a film and that's a tragedy, knowing that people have been wanting a great black romance for years, is one of the saddest things to ever come out of Hollywood, because black people have been waiting for a black on black romance, I say, for a good 30 years now. I mean, the last great two black romances we have seen in cinemas was Boomerang, I believe, in 1991, and Love Jones in 1995. And since then, there has been an absolute drought of great black love stories on the silver screen. And it's sad that these two black women, when they get the opportunity to make a great black love story, instead give us the same old self-hatred repackaged in a brand new box, the same old white supremacy in a brand new box, and we're supposed to sit there and accept the same old self-hatred and white supremacy in a brand new box and call it a love story. But as a man who has written multiple black on black romances, I know we're capable of seeing a great black love story and having great success with a great black love story. And all it takes is for people to go out here and support those who make great black love stories, because I believe there's a market for a great black love story based on the sales I got for A Recipe for Success in 2011, which was a repackaged Cassandra cookbook. The sales I have received on Steam, The Sands of Time just last year, the sales I got on Spinsterella in 2015, and I know that people are eager to see a great black love story, and I know people want to see a black on black love story where there is a black man loving a black woman, a black man and a black woman overcoming the obstacles in front of them as they come together, and most importantly, that black man and that black woman achieving some sort of success after they come together. Because that's one of the things that really irritated me about your Queen and Slim, is that it sends the message again that if a black man loves a black woman, that something bad is going to happen. But when I write black love stories, my perception of black men and black women coming together isn't something bad happening. It is those black men and black women overcoming their issues and then having and sharing that great love. And that was something I put into A Recipe for Success back when I was writing it in 2004. That was something that I put in The Temptation of John Haynes back in 2005 when I wrote that black on black love story. And that was something I put in Spinsterella in 2015. And it was something I put in Steam, The Sands of Time. I always, when I write a black on black love story, I want to send a message that no matter how hard the obstacles are, black men and black women can achieve, black men and black women can succeed, and black love can help black men and black women overcome the greatest of obstacles, the greatest of challenges, and they never have to end in a tragedy, because black love doesn't end in tragedy. black love is something that can help two people overcome the greatest adversity, the greatest challenges, and the greatest obstacles. Because when two black people love themselves, they find the courage to overcome their obstacles. And again, I find it really sad that Hollywood just doesn't understand black love, and wants to continue giving us the same narrative of white supremacy. And they want us to sit here and buy into this narrative of white supremacy, thinking that, oh, if we have two black people who are together, then that's a bad thing, when it's the greatest thing that could ever happen to two black people, a black man and a black woman coming together, and a black man and a black woman sharing love with each other. But I understand why Hollywood wanted to make their Queen and Slim movie, because Queen and Slim fits right in line with their narrative of black love, because they believe black love and black on black love is a threat to their base. Because if two black people, black men and black women, are loving each other, then what happens is they can't make any money on two black men and black women who love each other, because they have a love of self, they have a value of self, they have a sense of self-worth, and they're not seeking white validation and white approval. And that's the main reason why they don't like to show black on black love in their media. And that's why our media, like the books I produce on the SJS Direct imprint that showcase black love, like A Recipe for Success, The Temptation of John Haynes, Spinsterella, and Esteem the Sands of Time, are very important, because when you have stories that feature black on black love, then your perception of self changes. And when you imbibe media that shows you a black man loving a black woman, then what happens is you start to think about loving black women, and as a black woman, you start thinking about loving a black man, and you start to see value in self, and that's something you wouldn't get from a Queen and Slim, a film that is just as toxic as Your Harriet, which was a film that wanted to revise history by making Harriet Tubman to be, instead of a strong black woman, she wanted to make her a cowardly black woman who was out here worshiping white men, and really tarnishing Harriet Tubman's name with that demonic narrative they were presenting. And just as demonic is the narrative of Your Queen and Slim, which was designed to further program the idea in young black minds that black love is something they shouldn't aspire to achieve, because when there is black on black love, there is always going to be a tragedy. But the great tragedy is the perception of the people who made this film and the ideas they have about black love, because their ideas of black on black love that were featured in this film were extremely toxic. Because as someone, again, who has written multiple romances featuring black love, I know that it's possible for black men and black women to share black love. It was something I grew up experiencing and seeing. So that's what I want to bring, if I ever made films, would want to bring to the screen, is to bring black on black love to the screen, so that black children and black boys and girls and black men and women can see a picture not only of a black man and a black woman coming together, but that black man and black woman overcoming all of their internal obstacles and external obstacles, like I did in Spinsterella recently in 2015, and so for us to see those black men and black women having success as the black woman helps the black man, and as the black man helps the black woman, like I did with Temptation of John Haynes and Esteem the Sands of Time and Spinsterella and A Recipe for Success, because I want people to come to an idea and understanding, especially black people, that when a black man and a black woman come together and love each other, that it is one of the most beautiful experiences you could ever have in your life, and it is one of those things that can motivate a man and a woman to continue to push in a world filled with white racism and white supremacy and people who hate them. The one thing that drives them and motivates them to continue being their best and doing their best is knowing that there is a black man or a black woman standing together with them, and that they can share that love at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And that is the thing that is one of those sparks that keeps black people alive. So black love is something I'm very passionate about. And what's sad is you had an opportunity to bring black love to people with your Queen and Slim, but instead of giving us that black love black people have wanted to see, where we wanted to see a black man and a black woman loving each other, we got the same old self-hatred and white supremacy placed on screen. And that's not a movie that I would want to see, and that's not a movie I think many people would want to see, because black people have been wanting that next great romance since Love Jones came to the theaters and Boomerang came to the theaters. But Hollywood instead doesn't want to give us black on black love. All they want to continue to give us is the same old white supremacy. And that's why it's important for us to go out here and support great black on black love stories like I produce on the SJS Direct imprint, because the only way we're going to get to see true to the game black on black love, where a black man loves a black woman, is if we make our own media, support our own media, and create those stories and support those stories that show us loving each other, seeing value in each other, and seeing the great beauty of black on black love. If you'd like to pick up some of my great black on black love stories, like A Recipe for Success, The Temptation of John Haynes, Spinsterella, and Esteem the Sands of Time, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. There you will see all of my great black on black love stories, and you can pick up many of my other books in the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, and the other books in the Spinsterella trilogy. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today.